Welcome to the channel. Today we will be reviewing the Royal Kludge RK84, an 80% hot swap keyboard. It's a bad form to laugh during the intro. There's a lot I want to cover, but first let's do this thing backwards and talk about the overall pros and cons. There's a lot of reviews on this keyboard already, so if you just want an overview, let's talk about the good stuff. The keyboard has 3 modes of connectivity, supporting Bluetooth, wired, and an included 2.4 GHz dongle. And because it's 80%, it still has all the function and navigation keys you're used to if you're coming from a larger size keyboard. It's compact. The PCB can support 5-pin switches with hot swap sockets to accommodate easy replacement, and it all comes in at a very reasonable price. I also had a great experience with customer support, so that's pretty good too. The cons are that before a few firmware upgrades, the 2.4 GHz dongle, if you're lucky enough to get one, mine didn't come with it, but it has horrible range, which means the out-of-box experience can be disappointing. The front height can feel tall if you're coming from something low profile, and the configuration software is not super intuitive. At least it has configuration software, I guess. I'm looking at you, Keycap. Also, the RGB is not very configurable. There are a few options, but nothing like a Logitech or Razer or Corsair gaming keyboard. Expectations, right? Also, stock components, the switches, keycaps, stabilizers, etc. They're just sort of mediocre. So let's talk more about expectations in a minute, but they aren't amazing. Well, now that the summary's over, you already know the rest of the video, so you can stick around for breakdowns in each category, or just enjoy the rest of your day. We will be doing giveaways at 500 and 1,000 subscribers, so I'm just saying. Einstein really wasn't having this, but here he is, trying to eat snacks from under his keyboard. Okay, let's get into this. I got the RK84 from their US vendor website, rkgamingstore.com, for $67.50 with free shipping. It's a pretty great deal. I used a new customer coupon code by signing up for the emails, so I recommend doing that. I think this is the keyboard's strongest point. This is a really competitive price for an entry-level keyboard. It is feature-packed, so you're going to have a hard time finding a keyboard with these features for a lower price. That's not saying $67 to $80 is cheap. It's just a good deal for the amount of features that you receive. So first, let's talk about who this board is for. I think this is for the user just getting into the mechanical keyboard hobby, who wants a hot swap board with a compact layout, wants to pay a reasonable price, and get a bunch of nice wireless features as well. Maybe if you're a gamer trying to bridge the gap into the mechanical keyboard hobby, this might be your first step. If you want to try some speed switches or some linears, or maybe find out if clicky switches really are as bad as everyone says. But this is a budget mechanical keyboard. At 810 grams stock, it doesn't feel particularly cheap, but this is not a high-end aluminum custom keyboard. The packaging it came in was adequate, was fine. Mine actually came missing the wireless USB adapter because the magnet that should have been in the case was missing. So the attention to detail is not amazing. Their customer support did ship me a new one pretty quickly. I'll talk about pairing that here in a minute, but really, it's okay. So if you're thinking about getting into the mechanical keyboard hobby, this might be a best option, right? This will be a great switch tester. You don't have to spend money on those little acrylic switch testers. They don't really give you any feedback as to where the actuation point of a switch is, or how it feels to press it in a keyboard. So instead of spending 10, 20 bucks on something like that, just put that money towards this board and you'll get a very competent hot swap keyboard with a lot of flexibility. Another benefit is that this is in stock right now. There's no waiting on group buys. There's no waiting on availability. There's no pre-orders. You can order this on Amazon, get in 2 days, or order it at rkgamingstore.com for cheaper and get it in 4 days. You can see that the stock stabilizers that came with are the standard clip-in plate mount type stabilizers. They came lightly lubed, which didn't really make a huge difference. I did switch them out for some clip-ins that I had done the Holy mod on and tried the hot glue gun mod that I've seen a couple of the Korean streamers do to hold those stabilizers in place. It was pretty fun. Let's talk about construction while I speed through removing and swapping out these keycaps and switches. The case is made from ABS plastic. It has the removable frame that you saw earlier to give it that floating look. The plate's steel. The default typing angle is 8 degrees. The 2 feet can incline that to 12 degrees. And the included keycaps are just thin double-shot ABS plastic with shine-through legends. Alright, so I saw this thing on another YouTube video where the guy will like snap his fingers or pour his switches onto the keyboard and they just sort of magically go into the sockets. I'm pretty sure it's a YouTube hack, so I'm going to give it a try. I'm sure it'll work. Here we go. If it should have worked, they'll just magically all go in, right? I don't have to do this by hand, do I? Okay, here we go. Great. Configuration software is available at rkgamingstore.com. The back of my keyboard actually says rkgaming.com, but according to the Wayback Machine, that particular website's been down since March 13th at least. The Facebook page used to link only to Amazon, and everything from March 9th forward now links to RK Gaming Store. So I don't really have any information why they abandoned rkgaming.com and went with rkgamingstore.com, but I'm sure that keyboards in the future will have the correct website. The software isn't amazing. It does exist, so that's a plus. It includes functionality for keybinds, macros, and a lot of RGB options. The per key RGB options are a little lacking, so you can't do as much customization as you can with some of the more mainline gaming keyboards. I sort of wish that there was a way to delete the presets, or at least add a turn all the RGB off shortcut to the keyboard, but I couldn't really find that option. I'll sort of do an overview of some of the keybinds, macros, and RGB modes here, but this is not extensive. It's just sort of an example of what's possible. So in a market that actually has several 75 to 80% options, for example, the Kono 75 is about to launch, the EpoMaker EP84, the Yunzai KC84, and the Keychron K2. This Royal Kludge holds its own. It includes more features for a comparable or better price than its competitors, especially if you get it at a discount, and presents a good value for the cost. Customer support was also pretty great. They sent out the replacement USB adapter in a very short amount of time. So the question really comes down to, does this board have the features I want at a price I'm willing to pay? And the answer is probably, if you're looking for an inexpensive hot swap keyboard. Then yes, this is worth it. If you've already got a few hot swaps, then the only thing this does well is Bluetooth, and it has a decent 80% layout. I feel like with a little work to improve the stabilizers and some lube switches, this board will make you feel really comfortable and can easily be a daily driver, a switch tester, or even a minimalistic work keyboard. So in summary, the RK84 is a solid 80% hot swappable keyboard. It's available, inexpensive, and feature-packed. The downsides, of course, are that mine came missing a part, and the stock components are functional, but not impressive. And you have to do a few firmware updates to get the wireless feature to be fully functional. That'll wrap us up. So I'm going to leave you with some sound tests of the stock switches and then some lubed and filmed Gateron yellows. So enjoy. Okay, say like and subscribe.
Try.
Right here, say like.
Like.
And
Tap my video.
tap your video. Say it again.
Tap my video. Try. Tap my video.
Okay. And thanks for watching, and good luck out there.